Hello, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to Unmasked. I've just been running around, last minute craziness, but we settled in, ready for the show. Welcome everyone who's coming in, have an interesting talk today. I've got Justin Pikelis, who's a very cool guy and investor extraordinaire coming in. So he'll be here in a few minutes. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. Today's talk is all about Bitcoin. You see the smile on my face? Yeah? That shows that ignorance is bliss. See how happy I look. Ignorance is bliss until you find out that the whole world is doing something and that you haven't quite jumped on the bandwagon. So if you're like me, you either don't own any Bitcoin or you don't quite understand Bitcoin. You're still a little worried, still a little scared about it. Cryptocurrency, what it's all about. Well, that's what this show is for. So I'm going to have Justin come in very soon. I see some people are coming in. Thank you all. Last week's Unmasked was really good with Mani Nordin. If you guys had the chance to go back and see the YouTube video, serious pearls of wisdom from that guy. Especially for me, key takeaways for me was stay small. You don't have to go big. Stay efficient, stay agile, stay flexible. Great pearls of wisdom from that guy. So if you guys haven't seen it, go back and see it. Welcome everyone who's coming in. Just waiting for Justin to jump in and then we'll continue. Welcome all who've come in. Do any of you hold any Bitcoin? That's the question. I don't. And almost no one I do does. Whoever I ask, they're reading from Warren Buffett's hymn sheet. They don't understand Bitcoin. They don't understand the value of Bitcoin. They're scared. They stay away. I think I'm part of the same group. I probably made the same mistakes. But anyways, these things happen. And today we're going to talk about that because Bitcoin right now, it's pretty expensive. But $28,000. On the 23rd of December, it was $23,000. On the 24th of December, it's $24,000. On the 25th, it's 25. You get the point. And it's about 28 right now. God knows what's happened on the 1st of Jan, but the trend is increasing. And there's a reason for this. And we're going to find all that out. So I've got a couple of questions for Justin. When he comes in, we'll have a good talk and then hopefully he'll be able to at least demystify it. Because I'll tell you, cryptos have application. We've seen it. But there are a lot of risks. So we're going to talk about both opportunities today and risks associated with crypto. So very excited about it. It's very topical. It's very trending. Especially nowadays, you can't get by without seeing the price of Bitcoin. And a lot of us are probably chuckling, saying, well, okay, what's next? It's going to fall. We're all silently waiting for all these people to fall, but it's not falling. What's going on? Well, there are very clear and distinct economic reasons why Bitcoin is jumping. And maybe this is the case to stay for a while. But I'm going to talk about that. So we have just approached appointed time. I'm just waiting for Justin to jump in and then we can commence. Maybe there's a way I can add him, but he hasn't showed up yet. So just waiting. Anyway, I hope all of you are doing well. Whoever's jumped into the show, thank you. I hope it's interesting. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, let's hope you come out of it a little bit smarter than I am because I missed the train. I'll be honest. I put my money into cannabis stocks. Yeah, I took a big hit on cannabis stocks. I saw some potential there and well, let's just say it wasn't a good bet. It was a Canadian company and well, things just didn't work out. Welcome everyone who's come in. It's Bitcoin banter today. I think you're going to enjoy it, okay? So if you're like me, as I said, you don't have any Bitcoin or you have a limited understanding of Bitcoin, you're interested in it, you have a little bit of money you're sitting around, well, let's have a talk today what you can do about that. Should you just leave that money aside? They say cash is king, you know? Or should you invest it? Well, it all depends on your risk appetite as an investor, but yeah, there's some tips, there's some ideas to share. So I'm just waiting for Justin. I just got a WhatsApp message from him. Hopefully he will be jumping in any moment and sending a request. I don't see him yet. Just stand by, people. Maybe there's a way I can add. Go live with. There we go. I don't see it yet. Sorry, bear with me, please. I'm not seeing him. All right, Justin, waiting for you, brother. Let me send him a message on WhatsApp. I love web WhatsApp, by the way. It's just changed everything. Okay, I've just asked him to please jump in. Ah, Robbie. Yes, I remember you. Robbie, you're from Lithuania, aren't you? Yeah, you'd be interested to know. I think Justin is also from Lithuania, if I'm not mistaken. You're a fellow countryman. So, yeah. Okay, he's just received the message. I should be getting him soon enough. There we go. Welcome, Justin. I'm just waiting for the request. And we will go live. Just send that request out, Justin, and we're good to go. As promised, Justin Pikelis. And we're waiting. He is incoming. Okay, it says connecting. We're trying to connect. You know something? This has happened before. This has happened before. I'm afraid we're going to get hit by technical issues. Justin, I see you there. It says you declined. Unfortunately, people, I think VPNs are, oh, we got another. Let's view this request and I'm going to accept it now. There we go. It says connecting. I figured out what's going on, dudes. I figured out what's going on. Justin, it's not your fault. It's technology. VPN, without a VPN, you will not be allowed to join this on Instagram Live. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I tried to do this with Anthony Boza about a year ago, tried to do a live with him. Out of the UAE, it didn't work. I had to get a VPN installed and then get it done. So it seems we might have serious technical issues. Okay, I've got another request. Let me just see if I can. But Justin, if you have a VPN and you activated that, I'm 100% certain this would work. This has happened before. It's just
no technical issues here. No technical issues.
No technical issues whatsoever.
As long as you know how to dabble with the technology, there are no technical issues.
Oh, there we go. Welcome, Justin. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
All good. Alhamdulillah. You're looking good. How's Dubai treating you? Welcome to Dubai.
Well, thank you very much. I've been here for quite some time already. It's my 4th winter. This time I'm spending a little more time here. And Dubai, as far as I see, is the best place to be in the world right now, when all of the world is having lockdowns and, shit scared of what's happening, and for a good reason. Dubai is somehow coping with this very well in terms of controlling the disease and at the same time having the good ratio between safety and having fun.
Of course, I'm seeing that. I see on the internet also there's been a lot of high-profile visits to Dubai of late. A lot of celebs and all are coming in, some even overstaying their welcome and they're sticking around in Dubai. So that's very good for Dubai, but it's a clear signal going out to the world, isn't it?
It is. And, I hear all these stories that people are condemning, for example, Sweden's case of Sweden not locking down and, having the restaurants open and things like that. And I think it's not good to condemn those countries, because it is, I think, smart to see how to control the disease, because we don't know what the disease is like and what it can affect So,
Right.
you know, let's say we will only figure out that in the next 5 years or 10 years. So right now, the best way to find out what's the right model is to try different models. And Dubai's model seems to work because per capita, Dubai is, I mean, the UAE is doing the most tests in the world. And at the same time, for 10 million population and God knows how many more tourists, there are only 1,000 cases per day.
Very good. Very good. So clearly Dubai is doing something right. So it seems in this pandemic, it's the only safe place to be in the world right now. You're ahead of the curve, Justin. You got there before COVID, isn't it?
Well, I'm in love with this country and this city for quite some time. So it just kind of was a serendipity and a coincidence that, you know, at the same time, this is a great place to be compared to anywhere else in the world.
For sure, for sure. I lived in Abu Dhabi for about 7 years, and I would hang out in Dubai quite often. So I quite love that place.
Are you in Abu Dhabi right now?
So no, I'm not. I moved back to Pakistan.
Okay, I see.
Just a month ago.
Gotcha.
Yeah, very recent. So the thing is, while I was there, I was seeing and observing the property market. Okay. We had some very high profile announcements. First, you had the chairman of the MAC come out and say, okay, everybody must stop. And a lot of people did. They heeded that call. But then several companies, large developers still went on producing housing. For example, Emaar went on. Very recently, even Emaar has given the call to halt all projects. Now, what do you think of that? There's clearly a demand and supply gap. What's going to bridge that going forward for the UAE?
Yeah, first of all, I'm not an expert in the real estate market. Most of my investments are in public companies. But of course, I follow what's happening with the real estate market in the UAE because in Dubai, it's, you know, one of the most important sectors. And the thing is that it's clearly oversupplied. You know, you can go and to certain areas in Dubai, for example, JBR, and you can see at night, there's like 10% of windows that are lighted up.
There you go. Yeah.
I've heard that, you know, certain, I will not name names, but I've heard that certain buildings, they do that as a boiler room kind of setup where they just turn on the lights just to show people that the occupancy is quite high. And whenever you talk with real estate agents, and I've done that, I've talked with a few real estate agents, they always say, oh, the market is great. The market has bottomed out. And of course, they always say that, you know, 2 years ago when the property market has dropped 20%, they already said that the market has bottomed out. But right now, we've seen prices of real estate, the residential real estate, drop as low as 40% in the last 3 years. So it's hard to imagine how it can go lower. But at the same time, you know, if it depends how this whole pandemic thing plays out. But UAE is one of the countries that has been hit the most economically because the tourism sector, the hospitality sector, the travel sector, aviation, exactly, and real estate and oil has been hit really, really badly. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, I think the UAE is smart enough with its developments. And for example, in UAE, I think the statistics says that only 3% of GDP is oil-based, which means, you know, other sectors are really important and the UAE diversifies.
Very good. Very good. So what I saw, Justin, when I was there, and I was actually impacted by it, there was a huge exodus of human capital from the UAE, and it's still continuing. Every second day we'd read about, you know, several thousands, these weren't hundreds, but thousands and thousands of people being laid off. Now, the nature of my work was such, I had to fly around the world, so it doesn't matter whether I'm living in Abu Dhabi or I'm living in Pakistan, so that's fine. But does your presence there show us that you have faith in the economy of the UAE?
Yes, I do. I do. You know, I think this is like a temporary hiccup, kind of a dip that will solve itself. Of course, Dubai has always made its priority to attract the Western talent to stay here and work here in the corporations. And I think as long as they keep the tax system friendly, as long as they keep that vision of innovation and the attractiveness of the lifestyle for Westerners, I do believe that, you know, this economy will definitely flourish.
Very good. Yeah. So when I was there, Justin, I was started seeing, not just in my own household, but amongst my friends and the people that I'd hang out with, there's been a massive change in spending patterns. Rather than travel and going abroad, people are now, doing things like self-improvement or home improvement, things like that. So people have cash to sitting around, right? Cash seems to be king. Is it a good time to invest if you've got some cash sitting around?
I think it really depends on how much cash you have. If there's, let's say if you have a few $1,000s, I think that always has to be kept in the form of cash, because you never know what might happen. You may be laid off, and you need some buffer for your lifestyle. But if we're talking about, in 6-7 figures, it is not smart to keep cash, especially because, let's say, there is uncertainty in investments. For example, in stocks, there is uncertainty that the market might drop 10-20%. There is uncertainty in the possibility that, it might go up 10 or 20% or 30% or whatever. Right. But one thing is for certain with cash, that it devalues 2 to 5% every year, and it happens every single year. So if you're holding, let's say, $1 million or $100,000, that you have to pay rent on your cash, which means it's like you're holding an ice cube which is melting. So I would say that unless you're like opportunistic in the market and waiting for the time to invest that money, I would say that keeping cash, a large amounts of cash, is not necessarily a very intelligent move.
Very good. Yeah, that's smart. Okay, so interestingly, I observed that in 2018 there was a very cool lyric that came out in one of Eminem's songs. I don't know if you heard that or not. It was Royce the 5'9". In 2018, he says, "Everybody used to bite nickel, now everybody doing Bitcoin." That was an awesome lyric. Now, interestingly, Forbes, and I know you're a Forbes 30 under 30. Forbes themselves said that lyric brought Bitcoin right into the culture. Okay, so now 2018 has come and gone. A lot has changed, right? Now, whereas you had individuals come in, I understand the recent landscape has changed because institutions have flooded Bitcoin. Tell us a little about that. What's that landscape looking like now?
Exactly. You said it perfectly. What has changed over the last 3 years? We've seen the Bitcoin, let's say, bubble, the spike of 2017, that everybody it already became like a part of the investing culture to say that Bitcoin's highest high was 20,000. I mean, that price was very unsustainable, and it was there for a few hours, and it even not necessarily hit that price on some exchanges, which means that 20,000 was driven by the retail investor. So retail investor, for somebody that doesn't know, is a person like you and me and whatever, that invests their personal money. But institutions, the companies, the individuals that run those companies, they hold significant amounts of money. I'm talking about 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, 10 figures. We're talking about billions of dollars. And when they invest, they're quite intelligent with their research, which means for a regular investor, he might jump in just because his neighbor said that he earned $10,000 in a month, and he says, holy shit, he's dumber than me, I should do that too. Then he invests, and then he sees a drop of 20%, and then he gets scared, because a retail investor mostly is driven not by his research, not by his investment arguments, but by emotions. And when the emotions are intact, you sell, and therefore the bubble busts. But right now, institutions have really picked up Bitcoin. And why did they pick it up? Because there were some people like the Mohicans, the pioneers of institutional investors. They said, we believe in Bitcoin because Bitcoin actually shares the same properties that gold does. And everybody understands gold, and everybody understands why gold is valuable.
Glad you said that, Justin. I'm very glad you said that, because what I have done traditionally, I'm old school. I just go and buy these. Every time I have money sitting around, I swear I just go down and I pick up a couple of ounces
That's
and
a
I
good
put it
move.
aside. So
That's a
this
good
is
move.
my hedge against inflation. Now we all know central banks, especially in COVID, are not central banks. They're basically printers. They're just printing money.
Yes.
It's eventually going to hit. So is this the fact that institutions are just hedging against inflation by buying Bitcoin?
Exactly. They do. Of course, they understand that, you know, Bitcoin is way more volatile than gold, but they think that, all right, everything is being digitalized in the world. So why not gold can be digitalized, which means not gold ETFs, not gold synthetic products, but, you know, this new form of money. Because I promise you, if you ask 1,000 millennials or Gen Zs, what would they rather have, gold or Bitcoin? They would say Bitcoin. And you know, this is the type of shift that will not happen in a year or two. This is a shift that needs, you know, generations to pass, 10, 20, 30 years for people to really realize what Bitcoin is. But we already see that shift in the narrative. Over the last year, I've seen people who are, you know, I know a few really wealthy people, you know, people who are billionaires or close to billionaires. They tend to change their mind about Bitcoin, that it's no longer like a casino, casino instrument. Now they believe that Bitcoin can be the future of, as you mentioned, the hedge for inflation.
Okay, very good. So my institutions are in. Explain. I'm a layman. Okay, can I go out and get Bitcoin? Like literally this, if I just went and sold it off and took that cash, could I go and get Bitcoin, and how?
Yes. So I think, in my opinion, it is harder to buy gold than it is to buy Bitcoin. There are multiple services that can provide you a possibility to buy Bitcoin. You know, of course, you would have to check. This was my this was my time limiter, which says that I can only spend no more than 15 minutes on Instagram, so it blocked it. But now we're good.
You're a machine. You're a machine. I see it. I see how you operate. Time limit 15 minutes on Instagram. My God. My God.
So
brilliant.
Yeah. So you have to check which exchanges are good. My personal preference would be, if you are in the United States, I would say Coinbase. If you are outside United States, there's this service called Kraken, Kraken.com. They provide very good service, and it's easy to buy Bitcoin there.
Okay, and must I buy the full Bitcoin for whatever it is now, 28, 29? I'm afraid to look. But I can buy for any denomination.
You can buy Bitcoin for as low as 10 cents or even lower. So that's the myth that people have, that I can only buy one Bitcoin and it's very expensive, that I cannot afford it. You can buy as low as 10 cents.
Okay, so tell me this.
This is something that I would advise, you know, for people just to lurk in, to try to create a wallet, to put like, I don't know, $10, $20. You'll be in the game. You'll be more incentivized to learn what that is, and it will be an easier path than to just watch the chart and enjoy how others make money.
Very good. And is there some long-winded verification procedure, or is it relatively quick? Because I think I tried once and it was a long-winded procedure. I just sent ID cards and passports and nothing came back, and then I gave up.
Yeah, I think if you go to a reliable service, it will not take that long. But it's regular procedure like banks. You know, you would have to provide your passport, your ID, your proof of residence. Of course, you have to do that. You know, it's a legitimate asset.
Yeah, for sure. It's due diligence and it's got to be high. That's fine. Okay, so Bitcoin's price high. I'm in the market. I'm looking at other cheaper currencies sitting around, and there are quite a few. And now I was originally going to ask you whether currencies like, let's say, XRP were good. Now, recently I read that they're in trouble. Take us through what happened with XRP.
So XRP is, is a currency that is issued by company Ripple, and Ripple says that XRP is a currency that has no link, that has no attachment to the company itself, which is not necessarily true. Bitcoin is the only currency that is fully decentralized, and XRP isn't. So therefore, the U.S. regulators who try to secure their investors, the U.S. investors, they say that, listen, you misguided our investors by saying that this is not an attachment to a company, and therefore they're claiming that XRP is a security, which is big problem for XRP. I've always said that XRP is a very dangerous bet to make. People are very inclined to buy currencies that cost a few cents because they think that those currencies can go as high as Bitcoin because they're cryptocurrencies, but that doesn't necessarily happen.
Very good. So other than XRP, what other currencies should we look at? Others we just focus on Bitcoin? Because I understand Ripple had a lot of traction with the banking industry. In fact, I was planning to buy Ripple because the banks are adopting it.
Yeah. I don't want to make any bold claims, but there is an opinion in the market that those partnerships were, kind of paid off partnerships, or something that was not tangible, that was not really in usage. So for a beginner, I would say start with Bitcoin and don't look at any other currencies for a beginner. When you learn enough about Bitcoin and when you get used to the volatility of cryptocurrencies, which definitely can happen, you can definitely see 30% go up, 20% go down, even more. It's one of the most volatile assets. When you get used to it, when you understand Bitcoin, all right, you can then dabble into other cryptocurrencies. I can only tell for myself, I own 4 cryptocurrencies. That is Bitcoin, Ether, Polkadot, and Moneta, MTH coin. So mostly my largest holdings are in Bitcoin and Moneta coin. Everything else is quite small. So I would say start with Bitcoin.
Okay.
It's the daddy.
Okay,
it's the daddy.
I get it. Okay, it's the daddy, and that's a logical thing to do. Unfortunately, the children are greedy. We're all greedy, Justin. We might take your logical advice, but I'll say, okay, stick that over there. There's a new ICO coming around. The price is 0.0001 cent. Now, I'm going to make money on the flip when it goes 0.002 cents. I've already made 100% profit. Should I not just go around picking up every new offering, buying $10 worth and throwing it aside for my daughter's wedding or something like that?
That can happen. Listen, I'm not saying that those investments will always go bust. There are certainly stories where, ICOs go 3x, 5x, 10x in a month. That can happen. But but the golden rule of investing is when there is a high return, at the same time, there is a potential of a very high risk. You will never see an investment that has a high return with a low risk. It is impossible. So if you are a cowboy, if you are, this kind of a gambling type of person, yes, you can dabble around in these smaller cryptocurrencies. But if you want to make intelligent bets, something that has some tangibility behind it, I would say Bitcoin is the only one that can really provide that.
Okay. So let me ask you this while you're on that. Does Warren Buffett have any holding in Bitcoin, or is he completely averse to it? Because everyone either sings from him sheet or doesn't.
No, he doesn't like Bitcoin. He says that Bitcoin, his partner, Charlie Munger, he says that Bitcoin is poison rat. Sorry, rat poison.
Rat poison.
Rat poison. And, I don't blame him. He's an old man. It took him a very long time to invest in any technology. He invested in Apple comparative. He said that he will not invest in any technology. And now Apple is his largest holding. So, we never know if he will flip or not. He's a value investor. He invests in companies like Coca-Cola and like Geico, kind of slow value companies. But he's type of person that, is more of an old school business guy. And, but at the same time, in Wall Street, there investors, billionaires like Paul Tudor Jones, like Stanley Druckenmiller, like Lauren Fink, billionaires who have put their money where their mouth is, and they invested in Bitcoin, and they say that it could be, and I quote Paul Tudor Jones, who's probably the top 3 speculator of all time. He said that Bitcoin might be the fastest horse. So Warren Buffett, let's say he's the most successful investor, but at the same time, he's an old generation investor, and I don't blame him for not necessarily understanding what Bitcoin is.
Fair enough, fair enough. A lot of people who I speak to, just especially after seeing it's your stories that make me very annoyed at the beginning of the day when I see the price going up. Then I start calling up my uncles and other people, and I start advising, do you have any exposure? And they say, no, we don't understand. And they literally just say no. So it's actually, I hope they're on this live, they get to hear a lot of this stuff, because I find it interesting. And at least, I guess part of the portfolio can be dedicated to it. If you do have some money sitting around, I suppose you could. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I'm a man who's very risk averse, I must admit. Okay. I might be a little crazy in some areas, a bit eccentric, but I am risk averse. I'm going to ask you a question which to me seems fundamental. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's more to do with science than finance. Okay. Now, I studied science, I studied thermodynamics. I tried to apply the first law of thermodynamics, which is the law of conservation of energy, that in an isolated state, injections and leakages should not be happening because it's all constant energy. Does the Bitcoin ecosystem violate the law of conservation of energy?
Yes and no. So we all know the story is that Bitcoin uses as much electricity as Denmark, the whole country of Denmark. But the thing is that the most important thing for miners, for people who are, let's say, to put it in analogy, they're shoveling gold. They're trying to mine for gold. So they're trying to mine for Bitcoin. The only time that they're going to be profitable is the time that they get cheap electricity. And the only way how to get a cheap electricity in some countries is to have a sustainable source of electricity, a renewable source of electricity. So you would see a lot of Bitcoin mining operations use that. So, yes, there is a lot of usage of electricity, but people don't necessarily know that electricity does not come from, let's say, the bad sources.
Right. So tell me this, right? Who's making them? Who's circulating them? Who owns it? There seems to be some mystery around this. Please unveil this.
Yes. So nobody and everybody owns Bitcoin. The greatest thing about Bitcoin is that it's similar like gold. It's the gift from God, because nobody controls like gold. Like one person, there is no CEO of gold. Right. It is an element. So similarly with Bitcoin, there was this guy, or let's say maybe a group of people, maybe a girl, we don't know, but named Satoshi Nakamoto, which wrote the Bitcoin's white paper and released it to the world and said, this is the technology that is going to change the money system, let's say. The greatest thing about this, that Satoshi Nakamoto is an anonymous person, or a group that is anonymous. And we've never heard from Satoshi again. I think the last time Satoshi was online was 2012, maybe. So it's already been more than 8 years since the creator of Bitcoin has disappeared. So nobody controls Bitcoin, and the greatest property of Bitcoin is that it's decentralized. So there is no person or a group of people that could change the supply of Bitcoin. Similarly to gold. Like with gold, we don't even know how much gold there is on Earth. We just only know that every year, and I might be mistaken, but every year there's 1.5% new supply of gold. And with Bitcoin, we know mathematically how many Bitcoins are being produced every day. And we know that there's going to be 21 million Bitcoin and no more created. So that's why investors are interested, because there is supply and demand economics. The supply is fixed, and the new issuance of Bitcoin becomes smaller and smaller every 4 years. So that's why it's so interesting. I'm talking about this. I'm getting excited. I want to buy even more Bitcoin, but I think I have too much compared to my, any smart financial advisor would say, what the hell are you doing? Because I'm so overexposed in Bitcoin.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
Hey, look,
I see you happy.
Mani has joined the chat. Say hi.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Mani, how are you doing? Of course, it's good to have Mani in here. He was
It's
on
a
last
mutual
week,
friend
right?
of ours. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
So tell me this. So if it's all open source and it's all decentralized, it
Yeah.
starts to sound like an ISIS training camp. Can pop up anywhere in the world. No one really knows who's controlling it. Will I wake up one day and find out that all the Bitcoin has disappeared? Someone's just taken and gone. The value's gone. Could that happen?
No, listen. So right now, Bitcoin is worth more than $500 billion, and for a hacker, like it is the largest bounty in the world, which means if you can hack Bitcoin, you can essentially, well, theoretically own $500 billion of value. So of course, everybody will try to hack it, but hackers have understood that with the distributed ledger technology, with the blockchain technology that is fully decentralized, it is impossible to hack it. You have to hack 51% of nodes at the same time in order to hack Bitcoin. So
I cannot confirm or deny that Justin Pikelis just told everyone how to hack Bitcoin. Well done, Justin.
Do your best. Do your best. Of course, everybody has tried it because, as mentioned, there is a bounty on the Bitcoin's head that it's the worth of $500 billion, and yet nobody has been able to do that.
Okay. Interesting. So you mentioned mining earlier. That I found very interesting. A friend of mine comes to me recently and says, hey, let's just buy lots of computers and start mining Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I was a bit shocked. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, yeah, so how can I generate something out of nothing? It just seems like magic. Take me through mining.
So mining, as mentioned, it's very similar to what would you get with mining gold. There are shovels. Let's say shovels. Let's take a very simple example. You take shovels to mine gold. So the shovel would be a computer, and then you would get time, which you would have to work. You would have to work for it, dig the gold. So the same would be an analogy to computing power. So there are computers that are running these super difficult mathematical equations, and whenever they solve those equations, they get rewarded with Bitcoin. So essentially what you're doing is you're leaving these computers, and they're from the network, they're mining Bitcoin. So it's very similar to what would you get in gold. As mentioned, it has similar properties to gold, whereas there's new supply, there is, let's say, relatively fixed supply, and then you would need work and time in order to mine gold.
So are you saying that my next business venture should be cancel my tech support unit and open up a little Bitcoin mining operation in India, Bangladesh, or Pakistan?
I would say no. I would say no because there needs to be, first of all, you need a lot of capital to do it. Second of all, you need great relationships with with electricity providers to have a competitive price. And it's a hard operation to have. There is a lot of volatility in this. There are some companies that are doing a great job. And most of the time, mining happens in these colder countries because you have to cool off the systems.
Okay.
Sometimes they happen in caves. Just in order to save that a little bit of margin. I would say, for a regular person or for a business person, doesn't matter, that doesn't want to, fully transfer his efforts into Bitcoin. I would say just invest. And let's say my advice, and I don't give financial advice because there is no upside for me to give any financial advice. I just always say that think about your appetite of risk, then take 1 to 10% of your cash, put it in Bitcoin, and leave it for 5 years and see what happens. Today,
That's
Bitcoin
really
has hit
insightful.
its all-time high, 28,600, which means if you bought Bitcoin and held it, it was impossible to lose money. Impossible. And the price 5 years ago, I think, was lurking around somewhere of like 600, 800 Bitcoin per Bitcoin. So imagine how much money you would have.
Wow.
And if you would lose all that money, it wouldn't hurt that much because that's 1 to 10% of your holdings.
Right, that's a low exposure. That makes good sense. And I think that is what I'd like people to come away from this live. That you've got some, you can't sort of take a bit of a bet and just watch your exposure. Don't get greedy like me. I wasted a lot of money on cannabis stocks. Spot stocks killed me. I will, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So I've got a friend, Dangerous Dave. Okay. His drug dealer takes Bitcoin. I got another friend, Ricky C. His drug dealer takes Bitcoin. This is Pakistan, by the way. This is not the West. We're fairly advanced over here, okay? So never mind Dangerous Dave and Ricky C. I don't care about them. They're not going to have much of a problem, okay? If they overdose, won't matter. My issue is money launderers, terrorists, people who would use these networks, these mechanisms to send money all over the world for nefarious practices. Now, just to let you know some background, I did a lot of work in anti-money laundering. All my work in the UAE was around financial crime and combating financial crime. So I saw this as a very big risk. And the people I speak to also say the same thing, that it's only a matter of time, one incident, and there will be some kind of regulation, the dark web will go, and then sort of a large percentage of Bitcoin operations will shut down. How do you see this? Do you think this could happen?
I think new technologies are firstly adopted by criminals, by pornographers. Think about the internet. I think the same thing happened with Bitcoin at the beginning, but right now it is quite minuscule share of Bitcoin that is being driven by this darknet money, and darknet transactions. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Bitcoin is getting easier and easier to be tracked. It is not an anonymous currency. What I can do whenever I get a transaction, if, for example, police enforcement sees a transaction, so what they can do is they can track that transaction where it goes, and there's sophisticated software that can lead you to other addresses. And once you want to cash out, once you go to an exchange, or once you transfer that money to someone else, you can get tracked. So I'm not well educated in crime, but I would say that if I would have to be if I would be a criminal or a terrorist or someone that wants to do money laundering, I would definitely choose cash over Bitcoin. Cash is the number one. It's the money that it's most marked by blood, and there's nothing that could deny it. So I would say, of course, this is a very headline grabbing proposition, especially for journalists. Oh, this is like this cyberpunk money that you can, use for your drug transactions and launder money, and it's great for headlines. But if you would check, for example, even Scandinavian banks, which have relatively good reputation, or if you would check something of, let's say, HSBC, you would see that those banks are the ones who are providing a better life for terrorists. So I just think this is a temporary, and this narrative is already passing away. Compared to, let's say, 3 or 4 years, 5 years, there were way more transactions at darknet than there are right now.
Okay, fair enough. All it takes is one bad thing to happen, and let's say there's some massive control, like 9/11 style. Okay, God forbid. If that should happen, do you think any correction and any further regulation of crypto, or particularly Bitcoin, would that strengthen the currency or weaken it for the future?
So of course there is some money laundering done with Bitcoin, but usually that's being done with other cryptocurrencies, which are privacy coins, called privacy coins. Those are way easier to make some illicit transactions or do anything illegal. than Bitcoin. But Wall Street has already adopted this. There are funds that are holding that money. There are private companies, like, for example, Square, Jack Dorsey's company, who also is the CEO of Twitter. They hold Bitcoin. And the more public companies, the more Wall Street companies hold Bitcoin, they're going to have more lobbyists, and the countries are not going to ban it. And then again, let's say hypothetically the US bans it. What do you think China and Russia will do? They will embrace it, because it would be impossible to ban something all over the world. And when something is banned, well, let me know how the war on drugs is going on. I think drugs.
I'll speak to Dangerous Dave and let you know. He'll be coming around here. Okay, cool. So let me take another tack here. Okay, we understand the fundamentals, we understand the science, we sort of understand the maths and the finance. Okay, let's talk about the glamour of Bitcoin. Okay, a lot of celebs get behind Bitcoin. They have in the past. You had Steven Seagal. He went to Russia. He's now Russian. Putin gave him citizenship, and good for him. Okay. Yeah, so good for him. Okay, Paris Hilton had the Lydian coin. Apparently, Floyd Mayweather, DJ Khaled were all sort of pushing coins. Where have all these coins gone? They seem to have fizzled out. Let's talk about these disappeared coins.
I think that all right. Think about this. If you have a very promising technology, something that is very innovative, and something that speaks for itself, that really brings value, would you ask, with all respect to Paris Hilton, but would you ask Paris Hilton to promote that? Probably not. So those coins who are using celebrities to promote, it's like the first red flag that you should stay away from those companies.
There you go.
Because they're trying to use marketing techniques in order to show off the coins, but they don't necessarily have that, let's say, proposition, a really valuable proposition. So again, great thing about Bitcoin that nobody promotes Bitcoin because it's decentralized. There is no CEO that says, oh, please, Paris, could you promote Bitcoin? If Paris Hilton buys Bitcoin, is because she likes it and not because somebody paid her to promote it. So I think, again, if the currency is not decentralized, you should definitely do way more research.
I get it. So I think that's a very good point you made, that if a celeb is involved, that's the first red flag you should have. Okay. So I've been following the Instagram of a gentleman named Akon. He's very active. He's attending crypto summits. He's actually probably in Dubai. Maybe you've met him. I don't know what's going on. You probably hang out with him on the back. But what's he doing? What is so different about his approach? He seems to be learning more than doing. And I also see a linkage to his development in Senegal. What's going on over there?
This is the only, I would say, different story, because he's not getting paid to promote it. He's doing it for himself. He does it for philanthropic reasons. He's embracing cryptocurrency. He's embracing cryptocurrency investors. He is quite knowledgeable. As you mentioned, he participates in tech conferences, and I don't know if you can get involved with his coin or whatever, but this is one of the rare cases where there is intelligent curiosity behind Akon's approach.
Okay, good. Yeah, that vision clearly shows there's something else behind it. There's some substance there, which makes an investor
we can ask
feel good.
Mani. We can ask Mani about it.
Sure, yeah, we will afterwards. Okay. So another person who's entered, another celeb, is Steve Wozniak with eForce. What's the deal with that? Why is that so special? Why is everyone making so much noise? I mean, after all, it's the Woz. What's going on?
Yeah. So first of all, as you mentioned, it's the Woz, and not only he's, let's say, a cultural icon or a celebrity, but he's a legitimate technical virtuoso. I don't know a lot about his initiatives. I just know that there's a lot of buzz around it because it works somehow with energy conservation. And again, I'm not an expert on that. You probably could comment more. But he's not, let's say, DJ Khaled. He's not Floyd Mayweather. He's a person who was behind the early days of Apple. So I have not done my research, so I cannot comment on the specifics of that. But it's a good, it could be a good gateway.
Interesting, because I knew that he had, again, like Akon had developments in Senegal, sort of a fundamental there. So there's some sustainable energy projects. But you know what? When you started talking about mining and cheaper energy, so I thought, oh, maybe Steve Wozniak setting up mining operations somewhere, and somehow maybe eForce has a sustainability. I thought maybe this was all linked, but maybe it isn't. But clearly, movement's there, and that's a good thing, because after the initial fizzling out, at least you see some movement in cryptos, and that's great. So there's one really interesting fella I'd like to talk about, and that's rapper Lil Yachty. Now, Lil Yachty's come out with Yachty coins. I don't know if you know of them, but it seems
yes,
cool.
I heard about it.
You can invest in his career. What do you think about that?
So it's a part of tokenization. So there's what blockchain technology does really well is the record keeping and, let's say, the fractionalizing of properties. So one thing that you can do is, for example, with tokenized real estate, you can buy, let's say, not the whole apartment, but only the kitchen, right? Or only a few square meters of an apartment that you would like to own as an investable property. And then you get a coin that represents that property. So the same happens with tokenization of talent, the tokenization of music, the tokenization of sports teams. Again, we're going beyond, let's say, the cryptocurrency technology and going now more into the blockchain technology, which again can provide these very interesting propositions. In my opinion, it's still a bit too early to judge whether that model is going to work or not, but there's definitely a lot of intellectual capital in these industries. And I talk with other company founders, and it seems that cryptocurrency community is filled with PhDs of mathematics, physics, cryptography, economics. So that means that this is a buzzing industry, that this is not like, just a scam or some sort of hype buzz. This is really an industry that has a lot of substance behind it, and especially, as mentioned, intellectual capital that I really like. One of the most interesting conversations that you can have is with people who are involved with cryptocurrency.
Very good. Okay, well, when I read about this Lil Yachty's Yachty coin, I was rather interested, because I saw, okay, great, he's opened up a market for let's say fans to invest in, let's say, a piece of his career, if not the full thing. But I also then realized that if your career is not linked to receivables down the road, then investors would not find any value, right? So then I saw Lil Yachty's coming up with these breakfasts. He's got a new cereal with Reese's out. So fine, there's some receivable there which people can say, okay, revenue can be generated by an artist. But by the same token, if I invest in you as an artist, then the cancel culture makes you susceptible to the risks of me falling out of love with you and saying, that's it, I'm done with Lil Yachty. The hell with the Yachty coin. I see a big risk over there for artists who might want to open up to the public and then find, well, the public are rather fickle, aren't they?
Yes, of course. Again, it's really hard to hard to evaluate this investment, because it has so many variables, that it's so subjective, that it depends on the person who's an artist, and artists are emotional. And Lil Yachty could say the next day, screw with this music thing, I'm going to work at KFC, and then
I'm retired.
And then your revenue sharing becomes really, really small compared to what you expected. So again, I guess the best thing that you can do is kind of manage risk. If somebody would say, how much money would I invest in Lil Yachty's career, I would say 0. And if somebody would, put a gun to my head and ask me the same thing, well, okay, I will invest a very small amount, because this is definitely a very risky investment. And of course, it's very attractive for people who are don't have a lot of money and they're trying to become millionaires overnight. But as mentioned, the golden rule of investing is that with every potential high reward, it comes a potential high risk.
Very good, for sure. Okay, great. So talking about risks, I read recently, and I need you to confirm this for me. a very smart and rather rich individual named Elon Musk, I hear, has lost the password to his Bitcoin wallet. Is that true?
Mm.
Oh dear.
I don't know. I'm not sure if I heard about it. I think that he only once told that he owns like very small amount of Bitcoin. But what's interesting that he tweets about Bitcoin quite a lot. And the last time he tweeted about Bitcoin, there was this guy called Michael Saylor who has put $1 billion from his company's account and converted it to Bitcoin. He already made over $600 million with that bet. Over $600 million. And that happened like in 6 months. He hated Bitcoin like 5 or 6 years ago, and then he kind of understood it better as time went on. And he said to Elon Musk, if you ever want to learn how to buy Bitcoin and put your company's assets into liquid assets into Bitcoin, let me know. So this might be an interesting development. Maybe they're talking already. He said, let's connect offline. Two rich guys, two rocket scientists, actually, who can talk about it. So I wouldn't be surprised. I definitely wouldn't be surprised that in the next 365 days, we would know that Elon Musk's company, Tesla, has put some money into Bitcoin.
Very good, very good. Well, yeah, I hope if they do that, they don't forget their wallet password, because I read that he's forgotten it. For Elon Musk to say, I've got a little bit of money sitting over there, is probably not chump change. I mean, so it's going to be interesting when that opens up. But that's
listen. If you buy Bitcoin, you have to find out what is the best custody solution for you. And there are these small USB keys that amateur investors could use that are called like Trezor, Ledger, Keep Key. There are multiple of those. They cost like $50 to $100. You can buy them. You can store Bitcoin in them, and it's like a physical thing that you can hold, that you connect to your computer, and that you can hold Bitcoin in.
Okay. There's some hardware behind that as well. Okay, excellent.
Exactly.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Well, this is brilliant. I really like the rundown you gave, and I also had some other interesting questions. Right, so the hardcore questions are now done. So thank you, Justin. But I still have a few more questions for you. I'm not going to let you go that easily.
Sure, let's go.
Any stock tips, life hacks that you can share for people who are on the live or might see the video later and are interested in investment? What's your formula?
I just want to say that I'm on fire right now. All right. Remove. Okay. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. All right.
This is brilliant. This is brilliant.
Stock tips. I don't give stock tips because I don't want. There is no upside for me. If I give a stock tip, I gave so many stock tips. I gave kind of advice to friends. All right, this is something that you should buy. I really believe that you should buy Bitcoin. They buy Bitcoin. They earn a lot of money. They don't say thank you. And those who lose money, they always remind you about that. So there is no upside to me. The thing is, what I can say, if you're interested in this industry, and this is something that is really could change your life, don't leave your day job. Have an income that is always coming. From that income, save money. That money could be allocated to stocks, to individual stocks, to a basket of stocks, which is called ETFs. And then, just to start, if you start investing, it's like, you can read investing books as much as you want, but similarly to like swimming, if you don't swim, if you don't get into water, you're not gonna learn how to swim. So you can read as many books as you want about swimming. That's not gonna help. Of course, that can supplement your knowledge, but the number one way how to be better at investing and earn money from investing is to invest and then educate yourself on the side.
Fair enough.
This is my stock tip.
Fair enough. And now that you mentioned it, actually, I meant to ask you, I do know you're a bookworm. You read a lot of books.
Yes.
What are you reading these days? Any recommendations? What's good? What's new?
Actually, my book, so this is the thing that I use always. This is a Kindle device. I have hundreds and hundreds of books on here. It's easy to travel. It's, you know, I can read at night. I don't need a light. All these great things. So I'll just check. So last book that I've read was by Stephen Wolfram, A New Kind of Science. So it's kind of a scientific book that talks about computation, that talks about physics. That's a book that I'm reading right now. Let's see what else. I usually read investing books. So investing books would be anything that comes from Peter Lynch. I really enjoy anything that comes from Jack Schwager. So yeah, the last book that I really enjoyed, and I think that it's a mainstream book that anybody could read and really learn a lot of things, is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Actually, I've read a lot of books, and that this book was probably my top 10 most highlighted book. I mean, I highlighted so many things that I really resonated with me, and that I've learned, and you know, some ideas that were put on paper and or on a screen. So this is a book that I really enjoyed, and I think it's becoming like a bestseller now. It talks about how you should save money, how you should invest money, how you should look at money not as, let's say, fun coupons, quoting The Wolf of Wall Street, but more as a tool for your future, to build the future, to build, you know, a future that you can enjoy. And like freedom coupons, I would say, less than the fun coupons, but like freedom coupons. So Psychology of Money is my recommendation for, let's say, this month.
Okay, so it's definitely time for me to put away the Mad magazines and start reading some actual literature. So thanks for that recommendation.
the Hustler magazine.
Yeah. Okay, so what about music? What's playing on Spotify? What's on repeat? What are you liking these days?
I am very my music taste is very eclectic. It could range anything from like the 70s to electronic dance music to hip hop music, but the most played songs for me are like 80s rock is what I enjoy. Like 80s rock, like metal bands, hair bands, you know, these type of vibes of the 80s. I really enjoy that. If I would have a time machine, I would definitely like to spend like a week or two in the, let's say, 80s Los Angeles.
Wow. Great. With all the civil strife and all the riots, I'm sure it'll be great. Great. With blood on the street, you'll be peddling Bitcoin there as well. Brilliant.
Dynamic times.
So tell me, I know there's a Wolf of Dubai. I've seen you hang out with him. I've seen the stories. Do you have a name? Do your friends call you something?
Yeah, so shout out to Wolf of Dubai, Danny. Well, I don't want to get any like copyright infringement by calling myself the Wolf of something, but if all right, I'll twist this question. No, people don't call me, you know, of course they refer to me as sometimes in the circles like the Bitcoin guy. But if I would have to switch this question to what is my spirit animal, I would say that rhino is my spirit animal. I'm not very patient. Sometimes it's easy for me to get angry, but when I see a goal, I attack it with full force, head first. So rhino is my spirit animal.
The crypto rhino, we got it.
Crypto rhino.
The crypto rhino coming soon to a jungle near you. Brilliant. I love it. Okay, great. So tell me, what's life for the crypto rhino? Tell me, do you throw dwarves in the office? Is it like Wolf of Wall Street? What's it like? I know Dubai can get crazy. Tell me all the details.
Well, actually, I've celebrated my 30th birthday with the whole theme of the Wolf of Wall Street. So we've had some fun. I cannot, you know, open all of the details. But you know, I try to enjoy myself, but at the same time, I'm not that much of a party guy. I don't use any substances. I am a little bit, sometimes I have these type of, let's say, time periods when I am operating like a machine. I'm trying to limit my time of, let's say, procrastination or entertainment, try to block off time for deep work. So these type of sprints, let's say for 3, for 6 months, I could become a machine, something of laser focused. And then let's say sometimes for a month, I could say, all right, this is the time for me to really kind of go back, rearrange, get my thoughts together. So I spend more time reading, more time in the gym, more time amongst my friends. So these are like this, you know, like a market. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down.
Very good, very good. But you basically work out of you work on your laptop. You can work anywhere, sitting at the poolside, correct?
That's right. That's right. I prefer something more, let's say, comfortable and more office environment. But yes, for me, geographic location is not that important. I tend to choose Dubai.
Very good. No, Dubai is great. Dubai is great. And one thing I love about Dubai is the food. It's like a melting pot of so many cultures. You go and you find every cuisine you want. So has there any you've tried? What's your favorite? Anything you want to like shout out to people who might want to visit Dubai or are in Dubai?
I'm really bad with names, but let's say, all right. So and I don't have a sophisticated
that's fine.
Taste buds. I for pizza, I like Pitfire Pizza, which is in JLT. For burgers, I like Salt Burgers.
Okay, Salt, yeah, of course.
And then I would often try to look for these low kind of beat down,
holes in the wall,
like Arabic places where they would have like grill and hummus. This is something that I enjoy in Dubai that you wouldn't necessarily get anywhere else.
Very good. Well, I'm going to make a plug. I don't own the place. Full disclosure. Sorry. Little Lahore is the best Pakistani food I've ever had in or outside Pakistan. So it's in JLT.
Okay.
Do check it out. If you eat spicy food, do go check Little Lahore out.
I love spicy food. So please, I'll ask you to send a text and.
I'll do that. I'll do that right after this.
I'll make my own very honest review of how I liked it.
Oh, good. I look forward to that. Maybe we can jump on live and talk food next time.
Yeah, as mentioned, I'm not that much of a gastronome, but I like some, you know, some healthy heavy meals.
Brilliant. Well, Justin, that was brilliant. Thank you so much for this rundown. I had a great time. I hope you did too, buddy. It was fantastic.
Yes,
Thank you for all the learning, the knowledge. And just the casual banter, that's what I like. That's what I'm trying to encourage on Unmasked, and you've been a brilliant example of just a nice casual chat. I think it's brilliant. I hope whoever was on the live learned something from this man. The takeaways are very clear. So please, whoever was not in, come back, see the live, see the whole video, and go invest. See what you can do. Justin, thank you so much. A lot of comments have come in. A lot of people have said, will this live be saved? Yes, it will be saved. I'll put it up on YouTube so anyone can access it. Justin, thank you so much, my man. God bless you.
No, thank you very much. God bless you, and have beautiful holidays. Hopefully, for all of the listeners of live, their next year is going to be better. I think that years and decades and centuries, they tend to go like similarly to like the stock market or Bitcoin. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So probably 2020 was a dip year. Hopefully we're going to have a spike at 2021. And just as Bitcoin, we're going to go up, we're going to go higher, we're going to be more valuable to ourselves and to one another. So yeah, thank you very much. If anybody has any follow-up questions about investing, I'm trying to answer every single one of them. It's really hard for me, but I try to, you know, give attention, give back, go to my Instagram. And once again, thank you very much for having me. I like having these intellectual conversations rather than, you know, a very regular type of what the Bitcoin price is going to be next month. Well, I don't know. Nobody knows.
Keep watching.
So keep watching. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Justin. Take care, buddy. Speak to you soon, man.
See ya.
God bless. Oh, wow. Make money, save money. You got money, go make money. Now you know how to do it. Everyone's on this live. Thank you. It was good. We got like money. Everyone needs it. Everyone wants it. Well, out of what Justin told us, maybe you're going to find some new ways of getting it. Or maybe you won't. Maybe you'll stick to your straight and narrow, work 9 to 5, go earn your paycheck, and then maybe if you have anything left, you go buy some gold. Or you can go buy some Bitcoin. I don't know. Maybe I say I'm going to take this Bitcoin, take this gold, and just convert it to Bitcoin and see what happens. All right, people. Thank you all. This live's going to go up. Enjoy. Take care. Bye-bye.